What if I told you that the December Visa Bulletin just brought some of the most encouraging news we've seen in months? If you're waiting for your green card, whether through family sponsorship or employment, you need to hear this. The updates we're about to share could dramatically change your immigration timeline. And I'm breaking down every single detail you need to know right now. Hey there, and welcome back to US Visa Updates, the channel where we cut through the complexity of US immigration and bring you the information that actually matters for your journey. I'm here to be your trusted guide through every visa bulletin, policy change, and immigration update that could impact your American dream. It's mid-November 2025, and the State Department has just released the December Visa Bulletin. And I have to say, what we're seeing here feels like an early holiday gift for so many of you who've been patiently waiting in line. Whether you're pursuing a family-based green card to reunite with your loved ones, or you're on the employment-based track, building your career in America, this month brings genuine forward movement that we haven't seen consistently in quite some time. Before we dive into the specifics, if you're new here, make sure you hit that subscribe button and ring the notification bell, because we release comprehensive breakdowns like this every single month. Trust me, you don't want to miss January's update, especially with how things are moving right now. And if you find this information helpful, show some love with a like. It really helps us reach more people who need this information. Understanding the Visa Bulletin framework. Now, before we jump into the exciting numbers, let me take a moment to explain exactly what the Visa Bulletin is and why it matters so much to your immigration journey. Every single month, the United States Department of State releases what's called the Visa Bulletin. Think of this document as the official schedule for when immigrant visas become available based on something called your priority date. Your priority date is essentially your place in line. It's the date when your petition was filed, and it determines when you can actually move forward with getting your green card. The Visa Bulletin tells you whether your turn has come up yet or how close you are to the front of that line. Here's where it gets a little technical, but stay with me because understanding this will help you make the most of the information we're about to cover. The Visa Bulletin actually shows two different sets of dates. First, there are the final action dates. These are the dates that tell you when you can actually get your visa approved and finalized. When your priority date is earlier than or the same as the final action date listed for your category, that means you're eligible to complete your immigrant visa process. The second set of dates are called the dates for filing. These are incredibly important because they allow you to submit your application early, sometimes months or even years before your visa is actually available for final approval. This early filing capability is huge because it means you can get your paperwork in, complete medical exams, gather documentation, and basically have everything ready to go so that when your final action date does become current, you can move through the process quickly. This December edition that we're analyzing today is based on visa demand data collected through early November, and it's working with the fiscal year 2026 quotas. These quotas are set by law, and they're actually quite substantial. We're looking at approximately 226,000 family-sponsored immigrant visas and 140,000 employment-based immigrant visas available for this fiscal year. That's a significant pool of visas, and the way they're being distributed this month shows some really encouraging patterns. Family-sponsored immigration categories deep dive. Let's start with family-sponsored preferences because for many of you, this is what you've been waiting months or even years to hear about. The family preference categories are designed specifically to reunite families, bringing together spouses, children, parents, and siblings who are separated by borders. It's one of the most emotionally significant aspects of immigration law because we're talking about keeping families together. December brings some genuinely welcome forward movement in these categories. And here's what makes it especially good news. We're seeing particularly strong advancement for applicants from Mexico, the Philippines, and India. These countries typically face longer wait times due to high demand. So any forward movement here is significant. And here's the best part. We're not seeing any retrogressions. A retrogression is when dates move backward, which is always disappointing and frustrating for applicants. But this month, we're looking at steady progress or actual improvements across the board. Let me walk you through the specific categories and what the movements mean for you. The first preference category, known as F1, covers unmarried adult sons and daughters of U.S. citizens. We're talking about adult children over 21 years old. For most countries in the worldwide category, the final action date has moved forward. This means if you've been waiting to bring your adult son or daughter to the United States and they're not yet married, your wait time may have just gotten shorter. For applicants from Mexico, the Philippines, and India, the movements might be more modest, but forward is forward, and any progress is worth celebrating. The second preference category splits into two subcategories, and this is where we see some of the most significant and exciting movements. F2A covers spouses and minor children of lawful permanent residents. Think about this. If you're a green card holder and your spouse or young children are still in your home country, this category is your pathway to bringing them to America. The December Bulletin shows substantial forward movement here. For many applicants, we're seeing dates advance by several months, and in some cases, this could mean the difference between waiting another year or moving forward with your case right now. F2B covers unmarried adult sons and daughters of lawful permanent residents. This category typically has longer wait times than F2A, but we're still seeing forward movement. Every month that the dates advance means hundreds of families getting closer to reunion. If you are in this category, patience has been required, but this month's bulletin shows that patience is being rewarded with tangible progress. The third preference, F3, is for married sons and daughters of U.S. citizens. This category often experiences some of the longest wait times in the family preference system because of the high demand and the way visa numbers are allocated. However, December shows continued forward movement. If you filed your petition years ago and have been watching these dates inch forward month by month, this consistent progress means your time is coming. The fourth preference, F4, covers brothers and sisters of adult U.S. citizens. I'll be honest with you, this category typically has the longest wait times of all the family preferences. We're often talking about wait times measured in years or even decades for some countries. But here's the encouraging news. The December Bulletin shows forward movement here, too. It might be measured in weeks or a couple of months rather than years. But progress is progress. For siblings who have been separated for years, every step forward brings hope. Now, let's talk about those dates for filing, because this is where things get really exciting for family-sponsored applicants. The dates for filing are running 8 to 12 months ahead of the final action dates in most categories. Let me explain why this is such a big deal. Let's say you're in the F2A category. The final action date might be at a certain point, but the date for filing could be nearly 2 years more current. This means if your priority date falls within that window, you can submit your application now. Even though your visa won't be finally approved for many more months, this early filing opportunity allows you to complete your medical examination, gather all your supporting documents, submit your biometrics, and basically have your entire case ready to go. Then, when your final action date becomes current, instead of starting the process and waiting months for everything to be processed, you're already at the finish line. USCIS can quickly move to approve your case because all the legwork is already done. For families separated by thousands of miles, these months matter enormously. Employment-based immigration categories analysis. Now, let's shift gears and talk about employment-based preferences categories EB1 through EB5. These categories are designed for individuals coming to the United States based on their professional skills, education, extraordinary abilities, or investment in the American economy. If you're currently in the United States on an H-1B visa, an L-1 visa, or another work-based status, and you're pursuing your green card, this section is critically important for you. The employment-based categories are experiencing what I can only describe as refreshingly positive movement this December. We're seeing multiple categories advance by 1 full month with absolutely no backward steps. In the current economic and political climate where immigration policy can feel uncertain, this kind of steady forward progress is genuinely encouraging. It signals that the system is working to process applications and reduce backlogs. Let's break down each employment category so you understand exactly where you stand. The EB1 category is for priority workers. This includes individuals with extraordinary ability in sciences, arts, education, business, or athletics. It also covers outstanding professors and researchers, as well as multinational managers and executives. Historically, EB1 has been the fastest employment category, sometimes remaining current throughout the year. December continues to show strong availability in this category. If you qualify for EB1, your path to permanent residency remains relatively quick compared to other categories. The EB2 category is for professionals with advanced degrees or exceptional ability. This is one of the most common categories for highly skilled workers, including many people working in technology, engineering, healthcare, research, and other fields requiring advanced education. The December Bulletin shows forward movement in EB2, which is music to the ears of thousands of professionals who have been building their careers in America while waiting for their green cards. For applicants from India and China, the wait times in EB2 are traditionally longer due to per-country limits and high demand. However, we're seeing incremental progress even for these oversubscribed countries. If you're from India or China and you've been watching your priority date slowly approach the current date, this month's forward movement, even if it's measured in weeks, represents real progress toward your goal. The EB3 category covers skilled workers, professionals, and other workers. This is an incredibly important category because it's accessible to a broad range of applicants. You don't need an advanced degree for EB3. If you have a bachelor's degree or at least 2 years of job experience or training, you might qualify. The December Bulletin shows continued forward movement in EB3 as well. For many workers who don't qualify for EB2, this category represents their best path to permanent residency, and the consistent progress we're seeing is extremely positive. Something particularly interesting is happening with the dates for filing in employment-based categories. In some categories, especially EB2, the filing dates are running 5 to 6 months ahead of the final action dates. For example, while a final action date might be at one point, the filing date could be at a date several months more current. If your priority date falls in that window, you can file your adjustment of status application now through Form I-485. Why does this matter so much? Because once you file your I-485, several important things happen. You can apply for an employment authorization document known as an EAD, which gives you work authorization that's not tied to a specific employer. This provides enormous flexibility in your career. You can also apply for advanced parole, which allows you to travel internationally and return to the United States without jeopardizing your green card application. These benefits make the dates for filing incredibly valuable, even if final approval is still months away. The EB4 category for special immigrants continues to show availability. This category includes religious workers, certain international organization employees, and other special cases. If you're in this category, the December Bulletin continues to show positive conditions for your application. The EB5 category deserves special attention because it's quite unique. This is the Immigrant Investor Program requiring substantial financial investment in a U.S. business that creates jobs. What's particularly exciting this month is that the EB5 set-aside categories remain fully current. These set aids include investments in rural areas, in high unemployment areas, and in infrastructure projects. If you're pursuing an EB5 visa through one of these set-aside categories, there's no wait time at all right now. Your visa number is immediately available once your petition is approved. For investors looking to immigrate to the United States, this represents an incredible opportunity, the bigger picture, and what this means for you. Let's step back and look at what all of this forward movement actually means in practical terms for your immigration journey. First and foremost, it means that the backlogs are being processed. Applications that were filed years ago are finally reaching the point where visas are available for families who have been separated and professionals who have been in temporary status for years. This is the light at the end of the tunnel getting brighter. The fact that we're seeing forward movement without retrogressions is particularly significant. In previous years, we've seen months where dates would jump forward, only to slide backward the next month as demand surged. The steady progress we're seeing now suggests more stable management of visa number allocation. While we can never predict the future with certainty, This pattern is encouraging for continued progress in the coming months. For those of you from countries with high immigration demand, particularly India, China, Mexico, and the Philippines, any forward movement is worth celebrating. I know the wait times can feel endless when you're living them. Watching dates creep forward by weeks or a couple of months when you've been waiting years can feel frustrating. But here's the thing. Consistent forward movement, even if it's gradual, is infinitely better than stagnation or backward movement. Every month that your priority date gets closer to the cutoff date is a month closer to achieving your immigration goal. Diversity Visa Program Update. Before we wrap up, I want to touch briefly on the Diversity Visa Program because there's some good news there, too. The DV 2026 program, which provides visas through a lottery system to individuals from countries with low immigration rates to the United States, is showing advancing case numbers. For Africa, case numbers are advancing to 35,000 in January. For Asia, they're moving to 15,000. If you're a DV 2026 winner, this is your moment to take action. Check your case number right now. If your number is below these thresholds, you should be preparing for your interview or have already completed it. Remember, diversity visas expire on September 30th, 2026. Unlike family or employment-based cases that can wait for years if necessary, diversity visas have a strict deadline. If you don't complete your process before the fiscal year ends, your opportunity is gone. So, if you're a DV winner, don't delay. Practical steps moving forward. So, what should you actually do with all this information? First, if you haven't already, you need to find out your exact priority date. This is the date your petition was filed with USCIS. If you don't know this date, check your receipt notice or approval notice from your I-130, I-140, or other petition. That priority date is your key to understanding where you stand in line. Next, compare your priority date to the dates listed in the December Visa Bulletin. You need to check both the final action dates and the dates for filing for your specific category and your country of chargeability. If your priority date is earlier than the final action date, your visa number is available now and you should be taking immediate action to complete your case. If your priority date is earlier than the date for filing, but not yet at the final action date, you may be able to file your adjustment of status application now and get the ball rolling, even though final approval will come later. Check the USCIS website because they announce each month whether they're accepting applications based on the dates for filing chart. This can vary depending on visa availability and processing capacity. So, it's important to verify. Don't just assume that because the State Department shows a certain date for filing that USCIS is automatically accepting applications based on those dates. If your priority date is not yet current under either set of dates, don't be discouraged. Use this time productively. Gather your documents. Ensure your medical exam is scheduled or completed. Make sure your passport is valid and have all your supporting evidence organized. The more prepared you are, the faster you can move when your date becomes current. Looking ahead to 2026, as we head into 2026, the immigration landscape continues to evolve. The steady forward movement we're seeing in December suggests that visa processing is functioning effectively and backlogs are being addressed. While we can't predict with certainty what will happen in future months, the current trajectory is positive. For those of you pursuing family-based green cards, the emphasis on family reunification remains strong and the allocation of visa numbers reflects that priority. For employment-based applicants, the significant number of visas available combined with steady forward movement suggests continued opportunities for skilled workers, professionals, and investors. One thing I always remind viewers is that immigration is deeply personal. The statistics and dates we discuss represent real people with real dreams, real families, and real lives waiting to begin or continue in America. Behind every priority date is a person who has invested time, money, hope, and often years of their life into this process. The forward movement we're celebrating today represents thousands of people getting closer to their goals. So, is this December Visa Bulletin a Christmas gift for immigration applicants? I absolutely believe it is. We're seeing forward movement across both family-sponsored and employment-based categories. We're not seeing retrogressions. We're seeing dates for filing that allow early application submission. All of this adds up to hope and concrete action for thousands of people. But here's my challenge to you. Don't just watch this video and move on. Take action right now. Grab your calendar, pull up the official Visa Bulletin on the State Department website, and check your specific dates. Understand exactly where you stand in your immigration journey. What does this bulletin mean specifically for you and your family? I want to hear from you in the comments below. Are you an F2A filer who just became current? Are you an EB2 warrior from India watching your date creep closer? Share your story, your timeline, and your questions. This community is stronger when we support each other and share information. If this breakdown helped clarify things for you, show some love by hitting that like button. It really does help us reach more people who need this information. And if you haven't already, subscribe to US Visa Updates because we do this every single month. In January, we'll be back with the next bulletin breakdown, and you're not going to want to miss it, especially with the momentum we're seeing right now. Ring that notification bell so you're alerted the moment we post. Remember, your American dream is worth fighting for, and every month of forward movement brings you one step closer. Stay informed, stay prepared, and most importantly, stay hopeful. Immigration journeys can be long, but they're worth it. Until next time, this is US Visa Updates, keeping you informed and empowered on your path to permanent residency. I'll see you in the next one, and here's to your success in 2026.